So here we are. We are in the middle of January. Okay,
Hell
2025 is on a roll. Things are moving and grooving. And here in downtown Scranton today, they are having the Ice Festival, the Downtown Ice Festival, which is mom and pop shops. They have ice sculptures created by local ice sculptors.
Artisan.
Yes.
Ice artists.
And it's amazing. I love when they do it. But the one thing that I've noticed in the entire time that I live in Scranton is that every year that they do this event, it happens to be a warm week.
Are you serious?
So serious. It's just a warm week. Like, it's just how the things fall. Like,
what is it going to be coming up?
It's happening now. Like today. Like,
but it's warm to you?
No. That is the thing that is beneficial for them. Finally, in my entire time of living in this town, this event is finally happening, and they have frigid,
it's cold as hell,
air coming this week. This week is gonna be bonkers. I don't know if you saw
I didn't, but I just know that it's gonna snow. Like, there's a big, I think like 30% today. There's rain, and then tomorrow's gonna be like a storm.
Correct, snow tomorrow, and then Monday, Tuesday, we're looking at like -2. At a high.
Oh my God.
I
didn't know they can work in that.
Well, the sculptures are already made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sculptures are already in front of the places, in front of the venues.
Yeah.
The thing that happens is they put the sculptures out, and the next day they're halfway melted.
Dang.
So finally, for the Downtown Ice Festival, they're going to be able to showcase these and keep them afloat. They're not going to melt.
More than 30 minutes.
Exactly, very much so. So
okay.
It's working out for them, and I'm happy for that.
They're up now, so like I could go check them out.
You missed one. It's right downstairs. It was a ship for Ale Marys.
Oh, okay. The way that you said it was a ship, I thought that you were gonna say it's a piece of shit.
No.
I was like,
it's a literal
weird thing to say.
A literal ship.
Yeah.
No, they're
awesome.
all throughout the town. There's like a whole event going on this entire weekend for it. They may even have some performers within the square. Doing things like that. So I'll definitely, show you around, show you what's going on. But there's a nice route, and literally everywhere you turn, you'll see an ice sculpture.
Are you going to interview any of the artists, you think?
I don't know any of the artists. I'm sure I could probably connect myself to some of the artists because of the business owners within this area who I've spoken to, and the business owners who are participating in this event, such as Ale Marys, who is right downstairs. They're a bar restaurant right downstairs. I've been in this building.
They chisel off the ice like when it's over and make drinks with it.
No, they just keep them there.
Opportunity. Oh, okay. Because it's like right outside the bar.
True.
I would definitely.
But I'd rather an ice from an.
They
ice
keep it there until it's not there.
Until it melts. Correct. Until it melts.
A passage of time.
Correct. So we have that going on. There is a TikTok ban going on.
TikTok ban.
There's a potential TikTok ban.
Oh, I thought you said banned.
No, TikTok going on coming this Sunday. We'll see what happens there. I jumped on the TikTok train a little bit late. It's doing good. I believe you actually found me through TikTok,
I did.
Correct?
I did. Yep. It just came across my FYP, and I don't remember. It's like I didn't get this a lot when I first moved to Allentown, but I think like 2 months in, I started to get here and there posts, and then I would notice it said Allentown on it, or I guess Bethlehem, but mostly Allentown. And so, I followed you from TikTok, and then I saw the link to your Instagram and had to reach out.
I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, you are the first person to find me through TikTok and actually make this connection. So it worked.
I am a trailblazer, so I'm not surprised.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by a trailblazer? What do you mean by that?
I'm the first to find you from TikTok, and I'm the first to do many other things. I find that I just have good ideas, and I'm the first to think of some things. One of them was an idea for a silent bar. Not literally a bar where you drink at.
Okay.
And I'm just saying this because this is just one of those things that I literally just thought of yesterday. But I was talking with an Uber driver about how, I don't know if it's because like we grew up during a certain time, but like libraries are not quiet anymore. And so I was thinking about it, and I just thought of, what if there was a place where it was actually like enforced, where you had to be silent, and then Silent Bar came. It's in its, what do you call it, conceptual stage, but Trailblazer.
That's interesting. It's all about finding the audience for that, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who would appreciate.
It's the introverts. It's the neurodivergent.
Would you describe yourself as an introvert?
I'm an ambivert for sure.
Okay.
And also depends on setting and mental state. If I am on anything, then probably a little bit more, what do you call it? Outgoing.
Extroverted, yeah.
Right. But if it's a setting that calls for introvert and like being more withheld, I feel like I can adapt. So that's why I feel like I'm more of an ambivert.
Do you ever find yourself in an extroverted atmosphere being introverted, and for good reason?
In a extrovert being an introvert?
No, like an extrovert atmosphere.
Right.
Like it's a bunch of people who are just communicating this entire
that is
time.
the very reason that I don't like to go to malls. I like to people watch, and I think the mall is good for that, but there's so many people. I get in my head about it, and I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but when I am people watching in public in like places that are heavily populated, I am a little paranoid that someone will catch me watching them.
Okay.
So I can't even enjoy myself doing that, being an introvert in that extroverted environment. So when it comes to that, I will just leave early. If I'm not feeling it, I'll just leave early. But I did recently go to a artist, I don't know if I would call it artist showcase, because there were multiple performers, but there was a Christmas show given by Millie Mac in Allentown. Shout outs to Millie, or Maximilian. That sounds familiar. Maximilian did a Christmas show, and I was dancing all up in that bitch.
It's all about the vibe. It's all about, what atmosphere you're around the people. But I understand what you're saying. As a matter of fact, I was talking about people watching the one episode, and my buddies looked at me. They're like, "What, Kev? Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "It's something you should do from time to time. It can be comical. It's
what, dancing?
No, people watching.
Oh yes,
people watch.
Wait, are you saying that you didn't?
No, I do.
High five on that? Because
my peoples were clowning me. They're like, "Kev, what? That sounds really weird." And I'm like, "No, yeah, I'm ear hustling," as they put it.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. I mean, sometimes people make it easy. I mean, the extroverts make it easier for the introverts to people watch, because you don't even have to look in their direction. But I like the beach for it. Very nice. Just kind of like sit towards the back and just kind of scope out. That's fun. The mall, I get a little paranoid about, but if I'm on a second floor, maybe it's a little different. Church is a good one. Anything that has two tiers, a theater, a movie theater, or an opera theater, either way. I'm very feline that way, where if there is a balcony, I want to be on the balcony. If there is some type of porch or elevated area, I want to be on that area, because I need to see what's around me.
I respect that. Yeah, me personally, I'm an extroverted character, but I do.
I mean, you have a podcast, so
it makes
you're not
sense,
going
right?
to be,
but at the same token, like I like to, pull myself back and have that introverted side of myself, because it's important to be able to know yourself and look within yourself, and not always project everything that's within you out to the world.
Ooh.
And with that being said, everyone, welcome to episode 127 of the Middleman Podcast. I am here with Diamond, musical talent Diamond. Please welcome to the show. Thank you for traveling all the way from Allentown. As you guys heard, we had the connection through TikTok. I'm excited for you to be here, because, you definitely have a lot to speak on, and you have an EP that is wonderful, very vibey, and definitely sends a message
Thank you.
throughout the entire project there. Each song kind of has its own individual message for the public, but at the same token, it kind of seems as if you're talking to yourself to motivate yourself and to, you know, keep yourself moving forward. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, of course. I'm glad you reached out. Wonderful outfit. Love the glasses. They're very fitting.
Thank you. Trying to be a little LA.
I like it.
It's
I like
cold
it.
as fuck.
It is. It is chilly, but it's better to being on fire. And with that being said, let's move on to the next topic.
Next.
So, you are a musician and you have a musical background that has started at a young age. You know, I saw within your notes that you had sent me within your profile, within your Instagram, that you were a drummer.
I like drummer. I'll take that.
A drummer turned into songwriter and singer. Yeah. So music for you, when did it start?
Well, I was talking about church a little bit earlier. I grew up, that might have been my first times people watching was during praise and worship. I'm not understanding what's going on, but I am in a position where I don't have anything else to do but to people watch and try to understand my environment. So very early on, I recognized psychology. I'm picking up on behavior of people, and I'm picking up on the music I'm hearing and how they play on one another. The music, as the music changes, the people change. The behavior of the people change. And I think I always admired how musicians can manipulate the mood in a given space, outdoor, indoor. And I don't know if that's necessarily their goal all the time or our goal all the time. Sometimes it's just to express and to vent, but it is a very useful tool when you're trying to communicate a message to be able to manipulate the emotions. So my main instrument that I stared at growing up, and I would sit next to it all the time, was the drum set. I loved the power of it. I loved I guess that's the main word. There were dynamics in church, but the main dynamic was loud. And a lot of broken sticks, a lot of broken skins, a lot of sweat, and just, I think that drums are probably the most primal of instruments. And so that just resonated with me as well. I remember just closing my eyes, being very young, and asking my parents if I could sit next to the drummer in that section, and being like very moved, not necessarily by what was being spoken about in that setting, but what the drums were communicating. I mean, if you're going through something, I don't know if it's the vibration of it all, but it kind of brings it all to the surface and gives you an opportunity to release whatever it is. So that's where it started for me. Then fast forward 20 years later, I end up studying drum set at Montclair State University. Go Red Hawks. And, oh, wait a minute. Red Hawks. Ended up studying there, and ended up playing with a few bands in local area. Shout out to Newark, New Jersey. All the amazing musicians and songwriters that had me with them at that time. And after a while, I realized that I really wanted to try my hand being the main act, being the front person. And it's been a very rewarding step to take on myself.
When you were sitting there listening to the drums, you had mentioned that it's very powerful. You know, do you feel like the drums, I could agree with you in that sense, because I feel like, you know, the drums, they set the tempo, correct? They set the tempo, and usually if the tempo is fast, you're going to be more upbeat. If the tempo's a bit slower, you know, it's going to be a little bit more relaxed. You know, you're talking about church, and you talk about the sounds that you hear in church. And I remember mentioning this in the past, that the lights within, or excuse me, the glass, you know, and
stained glass.
Yeah, the stained glass and the sunlight projecting through those, you know, the colors that was chosen based off of that, because color sound, all of that can affect emotion.
Yes.
You know, and that's a very interesting study about how the lights can affect the wavelengths and the frequency of the sound being projected to make it cheerish and make it powerful and exciting.
Amazing. I remember just seeing when the musicians could tell when the pastor was trying to drive a point home, and how they would shift the key signature of whatever they were playing, or they would change the intensity of it. And then when it got more relaxed and it was supposed to be more of an opportunity for people to, what they would say, worship, it got more ambient and less intense in that way. And it was an unspoken thing. It was just people going along with the music. And I think that's where it began for me. I always would write coming up. Since I can remember, I was communicating with my words. I don't know if this was an early sign of me being like neurodivergent, but I remember getting in like disagreements with my parents being like 6 and 7 years old, and I couldn't communicate to them what I wanted to say. And they told me like later on when I was like a teenager that you used to cry when you were very overwhelmed and you felt like something wasn't fair. And we always knew to expect a letter written from you slid under our door that night. And that's what I would do. And
you think they still have those letters? Have you seen those letters?
Man, I don't think they kept them. We moved a few times, so I would have to ask them, but I never thought to ask them if they kept any. I'm sure they would remember like a phrase or two that I said. I'm sure it was just like, I don't understand why you are not understanding that I did this for such and such reason, and I still love you. It's just that this was what was working for me, like pouring my young heart out. But I'm still that girl. It's just that I'm talking about breakups now and other types of transitions in life, like a grown up.
Like a grown up. It's like you were projecting, what you were trying to express at a young age, and now you found yourself projecting it through music, which is amazing because, there are people who just can't find that outlet to, express themselves, and it seems like music has definitely helped you express yourself more and more. Just like the introspective side of you, the side that, a lot of people aren't accustomed to hearing about, but they hear it within your music, within your sound, and your how you project things on your social media as well. You talked about you've written songs about breakups. We'll definitely get into the song because I know which song you're referring to. And there's a lot of interesting things with that one song, especially the title. Because I went on just like, Google search. You talking
about Fumble?
I was talking about Vanity.
Oh.
Yeah, I was talking about Vanity.
Talk about Vanity.
But Fumble as well. More so Vanity, though. Because Vanity, I found that has 2 definitions to it. And I was like, they're both fitting for it. So
I love a double entendre. I love a double entendre.
So, you mentioned that you were in Newark. You were with bands. What type of bands were these? Were they like heavy pop rock?
It was definitely some pop inspired, but it was definitely more R&B based. We would do covers of artists like Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, some jazz in there because when I studied drums, that was my major. It was jazz. Excuse me. So I ended up playing for a lot of different jazz bands in my area, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and in Newark, also playing in some jazz bands in West Orange area. And then I got into the scene in Newark, and that's where I started to play more R&B and pop remixes we would make. It was really fun. I really enjoyed myself there.
Big fan of jazz. I think jazz is wonderful. Like I don't go out and it's not within my playlist, but if I see it and I hear it and I hear the saxophones and all these other instruments, like we had this one producer engineer, his name is Jazzy Lion Man, and he samples a lot of jazz. Like, that's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah,
and it's so great. Like, I love it.
He has all the vinyl.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Insane vinyl collection. As a matter of fact, he just came across another vinyl. Like, he just bought 100 vinyls, or so to speak, and he's sampling 100? Things. A lot. Like, I'm not even joking. Gosh. Like, it was a plethora of vinyls. And the vinyl, like the cover of it, had mold on it. That's how old it was. Gosh. He's like, dude, if you're not sampling vinyls with some mold on it, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, this is old, really old stuff. And he
rescued those records.
He really has. He really has. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Shout out Mr. Jazzy, Lion Man, doing phenomenal things. Now, you know, so you were in New Jersey, and then you had moved to Allentown, correct? Are you originally from Pennsylvania area?
No, I'm born and raised in New Jersey. Save the hate. I all those people out there that have hate for New Jerseyans, I get it. You know, I get it. It's okay. But I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Not the two. I come in peace.
Or the three.
Also, I have come back, so let's save it. I like Pennsylvania. May I
ask you what brought you to Pennsylvania?
Okay, yes. So I started my whole journey of breaking out from being a drummer to a songwriter and producer by coming to Philly.
Okay.
I saved up and moved to Philly in the summer of, I want to say 22. And I came there with the full intention of just going for it in every way. And it was very symbolic because as soon as I took that leap, I met so many amazing, supportive people. I knew it was the right step, and it just confirmed everything for me. I forgot the question. I was talking about Philly. And
what brought you to Pennsylvania?
Just I have visited once, just like on a day trip, because I don't know how I'd made it to like 25 and never like came to Philly just like on a whim. So one day I did just that, solo dolo, and I didn't have any intention. I just wanted to see what was like there.
But you were following your passion for music. You were following, so like Philly, you know, that's one of the places you picked. Was there like just a highlight in a artistry scene in Philadelphia that you felt like it was a calling, that was a place that you wanted to go and be?
Yeah. I picked up on it pretty quickly. It wasn't so much, I'll be honest, it wasn't so much the artsiness and the opportunity of it all. What I was drawn to was the Black queer community there.
Okay.
When I visited, just in that one night, I had met at least 20 people. At least 20 people in my community. I'm Black, I'm queer, and to immediately meet those people just on the first night or two of me being there was astonishing and amazing for me, and that kind of made my mind up for me. I came from like a suburban area where I had to go out of my way to like meetups, to New York, to meet people like me that I could just we could relate on these levels that I needed to relate to people on. And I did not have to go out of my way at all in Philly. Everything was right there. Hey, you want to meet some people? There's 3 things going on tonight. We could go to all 3. We could stay out until 3:00 in the morning and just connect. That was amazing for me.
How do you think that elevated your artistry? You as a person, your artistry, everything like that?
I think, and I'm, all right. I love listening to people's stories. I love, getting to know people. Even if it's just one conversation, it doesn't have to be like, now we keep up with each other for the rest of our lives. But meeting people one-on-one, meeting so many aspiring and artists on every what do you call it, chapter of their journey, and getting to speak with them, even if it's just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, getting to connect on Instagram and watching them grow. There was a very strong community amongst each other, and that was very inspiring for me. And I carry that with me to Allentown, where whenever I meet an artist, whenever I meet an entrepreneur, a business owner, I want to know their story. I want to know why they wanted to do what they're doing now. And I want to continue to watch their journey. It's just fascinating to me.
It's like it motivated you, And from what it sounds like, because, you had mentioned from the suburban town that you were from, you kind of had to go a little bit out of your way to go to an event or anything like that. But when you were just in Philadelphia, you kind of just were able to just express and really take it to the next level for yourself. It's like you were able to open up more, essentially. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you were able to find, you said you found your community, you found your people, right? When you find the people that have the common interests, you start opening up more, you feel more vulnerable to be able to express what you've gone through because they can relate. When you're in a town or in a different area where it's just like, they won't get it. Yeah. They just won't get it. It's some people do feel that way. So they get up and they move and they find a place that feels right for them. It's time to move. So you said 2022, you're there, you started to follow and pursue your dream for music. Yet the first EP has dropped in 2024. Okay. So within those 2 years, within being in Philadelphia, and now you're in Allentown. Yeah. What was going on in the midst of all that?
Man, life. Life be
lifing.
It do. I experienced so much in that time frame. Now I see that it was for my good. It perfected my mindset. It made me more resilient. It taught me more about psychology, and it gave me resources that I can learn from for the rest of my life. I saw somebody say, I forget what his name was, but you asked him, like, what's his philosophy on life?
It's Take on Life Camo, the most recent one that I just posted.
Was he like, learn like...
Yes, learn...
Live
as
like
if you were to die today,
tomorrow.
Today or tomorrow.
And learn like you're going to live forever.
Correct.
I love that quote. And the resources that I gained and am still gathering, I feel like I can draw on those for the rest of my life, and I will. But I wouldn't have gained them if I didn't. Well, who's to say? I'm not a psychic, but I went through what I went through, and it drew me to the information that I have now, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that, and I feel like I'm on a good path that is authentic to myself and is connecting me with authentic people. So that's always my way of like gauging if I'm in the right direction, because I get connected with people like me who are operating in authenticity, who are operating in their passions. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So life was lifing, right? So you basically, it just happened to be that you were living life, and then, at some point you had picked up, moved from Philly into Allentown. What inspired that change of scenery?
I actually didn't go from Philly straight to Allentown.
Okay.
I had gone to Colorado for a while.
Awesome.
Random.
Awesome.
Random as fuck. But that's sometimes I'm just willing to take risks like that. And so I moved to Colorado, and that's where I learned so much. And I learned things the hard way in Colorado. It was gorgeous, though. I will say the beauty of the mountains and the snow, it was just gorgeous. And I definitely want to go back for that. But, and the weed. But, I mean, so it was really good. But, what was I saying? So I learned the hard way in Colorado, some things. So I ended up coming back to New Jersey from my home base, New Jersey. And from New Jersey, I moved to Allentown following a ex of mine. And, we good. we move on. And it's for the better. It's definitely for the better that we're not together. Hold on.
So you moved from New Jersey. I'm assuming that you two were together at that time, got you in Allentown, and then things didn't work out, so you stayed in Allentown.
I stayed in Allentown. I stayed here because while we were together, I got the chance to kind of get to know the environment. We weren't here in Allentown long, but while we were, I got my walks in, I got my steps in. I visited the local coffee shops and the artist venues and boutiques, and I got to go to the Christmas show by Maximilian. And so I got a better lay of the land, and I realized that this is an awesome place. Not just, not because it wasn't apparent when I first moved here, but I just got to meet and connect one-on-one with the people. And, I just felt like it was a good fit. So
the people of Allentown, I'm a fan of Allentown. I've said it before. I love Scranton. Scranton is my people. We've built
you have to clear that up.
We've made a great base here. But I have said that if I didn't move to Scranton when I first left home, for me, it was Mount Pocono. I would have been to Allentown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have chose Allentown. Okay. And Scranton is phenomenal. They have a lot of, as I spoke on earlier, the local scene for the artistry here is amazing. They do it fantastic. They have these boutique shops, coffee shops. I just feel like Allentown is just a bigger... Oh, it's just bigger. That's it. That's
I wasn't
really
sure which one was bigger.
That's really, in my opinion, what it comes down to is Scranton, like downtown, like there's a lot of things going on downtown always. But in Allentown, there are pockets within the entire community, in my opinion. Okay. So that's just what it is.
You
it's
just give me a tour then.
I'm sorry?
You gotta give me a little tour, because I've only so far branched out as far as downtown Allentown, but these pockets you speak of, I would love to explore and see what am I missing, what I haven't seen yet. But go ahead.
I find my pockets through people who come to the show. That's how I get to know a little bit of Allentown. Yeah. For example, we had an artist. I see you two follow each other on Instagram. His name is Psycho. Okay. He goes by Psycho. He had a showcase out in Allentown. I think it was called Burnheadsville, something. It was.
I know what you're talking about. Yes. I wanted to go to that.
It's called
event
Synergy.
Too. Yes, Synergy. I saw them on TikTok too.
Yep. He was on the show, so just being out there, I get the lay of the land through him. Another artist that I would like to shout out is J Lost Soul. J Lost Soul, Astral Soul. He was on much earlier, but awesome dude, speaks highly of Allentown, has roots in Allentown, can put on a show in Allentown, has done it. There's the Music Fest that brings you out to Allentown.
Excited for that.
Home of the Music Fest. What a phenomenal job that they've done there. Hopefully Atmosphere more than likely will surpass. Much respect to the Music Fest, but we're looking to surpass.
Put it out there.
We're going to mimic, we're going to learn from them. We're going to mimic. We're going to, definitely but also we want to reach out and brand ourselves in Allentown. So that's something
I was going to ask, like, if you wanted to keep it here or if you were going
We
to
got some
Allentown.
things on the works that I'll tell you off camera, but, not on camera. We got to see it, come to fruition first. But no, I am a fan of Allentown. You guys have a wonderful scene. Definitely this area embodies rock music. They love rock. I feel like Allentown is more of, hip hop, R&B, stuff like that. And it's more accepted out there, which is accepted here as well. It's just
this is not the
there's a lot of older folk in this area. There's a lot of older folk in this area.
Okay.
And, they want to keep some of the Pennsylvania old things within, just keep it the same. But we're trying, new generation.
Yes.
A little
Let's
bit
get
of
some diversity.
Correct. We're not.
It's okay to, not have it all be about R&B and rap, but can it be represented?
Yes. Can we intertwine the two? Can we have rock, hip hop, R&B?
Ska.
Exactly. So that's what it's all about. So I do enjoy Allentown. I think Allentown is a great spot. I am happy that I'm here in Scranton. I think we're in a perfect spot because we are able to pull people from New York as well as Allentown, New Jersey. We do have one individual who's from Scranton, moved to Nashville and is flying to Scranton to do a show. We've had people come from Florida. So yeah, it's awesome. we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. So we love you, Scranton. You're doing great. We love you so much. I want to clear that up. Okay.
Love you,
so the music scene out in Allentown, right? Influence. How has that influenced your sound? Do you think it has influenced your sound heavily? It's influenced it ever so slightly. Do you find yourself making accommodations throughout your music because of the area that you're tied into right now?
No matter where I go, I want to collaborate with, the people that inspire me and the people that I see are really going for it. So that is still the case in Allentown. All the people that I saw in that winter show, I want to talk to them again, and I am talking with them. And
you performed at the winter show?
I was just a spectator.
Okay.
I was just a spectator because this was my first time going to that venue. So I just wanted to, see what does it look like, how does it play out, and so when it comes to how it affects my sound, I've kind of been still taking a lot of information in still. This will be maybe my 3rd month in Allentown.
Okay.
So
you're fairly new to the area.
Very new.
Okay.
But I've still gotten to see, boutiques, the cafes, the entrepreneurs and all this. So it's still very new to me, but it's inspiring. It is, what do you call it? It's gratifying to be able to connect with so many people in such a concentrated space. I mean, I'm talking about 3 blocks, and I've met upwards of like 20 people that I can text right now and just be like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Or how can we build in the future? How can I support you in the future? I've been taking a kind of a little bit of a, what do you call it? I got, reflective.
Okay.
Over the new year. I think that's a thing with a lot of people.
Vision boards.
I made a vision binder though.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of shit that I want to do. And I gotta flip through it.
How do you choose? How do you work what's first and last at that point?
TikTok is my answer for everything.
Okay.
So it is my answer now. Like I got the idea. I don't know if I got the idea to do a binder from TikTok. That was all me. But I got the idea to split it up into sections from TikTok. Like somebody said they did a self-care category, finances category, a career category, relationships category. And so that's kind of how I did it. And it's been really, it was fun to put together. It caused me to reflect a lot more. So I did take a step back recently from being creative, especially because I just moved to a new place. So I'm just kind of getting into the routine of things for now. But what I have been doing is reaching out to the people that I've met recently, letting them know that I am inspired by your work, and I do want to know, like, what is your inspiration? What is your story to be passionate about what you're doing now? And I think that's going to lead to some positive relationships going forward, so that I can feel more grounded in Allentown, because right now it's still very new.
I respect that, because you're going to take what they say. You're going to learn from what they have to say. You're going to use it and maybe apply it to your own. So maybe you don't make the same potential mistakes, or, you can see what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, definitely building those relationships with the artists and the people around the area is monumental. Especially when you give them their flowers as well. You had mentioned that you would reach out and tell them, hey, I'm really inspired by the way you're doing this, and when you give someone a compliment and you ask them what drove them to get to where they want to be, they're going to tell you. Like, they will gladly tell you. More than likely, they will tell you, unless you're like, no, I can't tell you my secrets. Some weirdos like that. Right. But no, I think that personally, like, when you ask people, when you're inspired by someone, you tell them, you give them their flowers, and you ask them how they got to where they're going, they're willing to talk, and you just have to listen. You just have to listen. And that's the most important thing. And I could tell that you do that. Very much so. You definitely listen. So real quick, because I want to expand on your entire EP here. But before we do that, I just want to get into Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. So we're going to tap into the Tea Time segment of the show here. You know how this works. We spoke about it on the phone. Cheers. Here we go. Some ASMR for my people.
Oh, should I do it in the...
Yours was more crisp than mine.
Synchronized.
Yeah. And here we go. Welcome to Tea Time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. We have the patented Tea Time pot. There are questions in here. Some interesting ones. Diamond, if you could just reach in, pick one, and then pass me the paper, because my handwriting is not the best. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. And this is the one that I threw in today. How does that always happen, Michael? Wow. Michael has one in here that he really wants us to pick, and it's just like, we just haven't picked it.
You gotta mix it better.
How long has that been sitting in there?
Oh my God, it's been it's like the first one.
I think since we started this. Since we started the teapot, because the teapot's a new element that started like maybe episode 118 or so. 118, 119. Yeah. And his question still hasn't gotten picked. So, bro, I'm sorry, it's not me. Yeah. We're trying.
I don't know. Check under the teapot. Maybe is it hidden under?
There's a hole in there. So the tea time question of the day. This one is interesting. It comes from Mr. Methodonics.
Okay.
So, this is the question. If everything in life has an end, how is it that the universe is endless? That is the question of the day. And I have a perfect answer for this, because I thought about it today. I was like, I get it. I get it now.
Everything in the universe comes to an end.
Yes. If everything in life comes to an end, how is it that the universe is endless?
Because the universe is comprised of life and death.
Okay. That's an interesting take. I can follow you with that.
Yeah, it's balanced.
Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not all life. It's not it's not all beginnings. There are beginnings and there are endings, and there are beginnings again. So I don't know how else to expand on it, but that's
the answer.
I don't know. That's just like logically, I'm just thinking.
My input on this, I thought about it today. I was like, okay, if everything in life comes to an end, how is it that the universe is never ending? And I was like, it's kind of simple when you actually think about it, in my opinion.
Right.
Because life is short. life is so short. It is not a large time frame at all when you look at the grand scale of the universe. And that's really it.
And it's not like what we think of it as. Like, we think of it as being here, being able to experience things, but there was a time where we existed, but we weren't able to experience things. We were still growing, and maybe just like an idea to someone that maybe we should have kids, or what would happen if we had kids. So it depends also on how you define life, how you define ending too. So,
yeah, it's
because if people remember you, are you gone? If you have things here that people are holding for you, if someone has your ashes, if someone has a memory of you, I don't know. Some people might define that as still being alive to someone.
That's my eye opened when you said that, because that's a really great take. If someone's holding something for you, are you really gone?
I'm saying.
No, your legend lives on. The legend lives on. You know, you think about Frank Sinatra, you know, his music is well outdated, you know, but we still play it to this day. The Yankees play it at the end of every game, you know, New York, you know, they keep it going. So wow. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. I like that. I really like that a lot. So we're just going to end on that. Yeah. That's a great question, Mr. Methodonics. I appreciate you for sending that one in.
Thank you for opening our third eye.
Yes, correct. So with that being said, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Tea Time.
Tea Time.
Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Cheers. And we're going to continue on with the show.
Nostalgic drink for me.
As it is for most.
That's how we would.
Bacon, egg, and cheese with it?
Yes.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Put a hash brown on it. On it. If you don't know, now you know.
I'm team no hash brown on it.
Wow, we gotta go, guys.
I mean, even on the side, like a civilized person. What are you doing?
Excuse me.
What are you doing?
I feel as if I'm a civilized human being within this neighborhood, whether or not I put hash browns on my bacon, egg, and cheese or not. Just saying.
How are you getting the texture of the hash brown and it's smushed between bagels? I don't know.
To each their own. So let's proceed with the conversation, because I want to talk about your EP. Here we go. Your most recent EP your first EP that you released. Yeah. Are there any other tracks before we get into this?
I have some other tracks. Yeah, there was one actually about my move to Philly, and I liked it. I still like it, but I haven't released it. Yet. And there are some other tracks too, called The Way You're Looking at Me and to Calm Down Rain. I'll probably elaborate on those later, maybe do some type of visual for them so I can like actually release them officially. But those were like the precursors to, oh my God, that made me think of Jackson Dexter. The precursors.
I'm missing it.
You know,
sorry.
It's a video game.
Oh, Dexter, like Jack.
Was it Jack?
Jack and Dexter.
Jack and Dexter, right?
Yeah.
And they had to collect the precursors.
Yeah.
That's what made me think of. Yeah. So,
I know Ratchet and Clank, but it was Jack and Dexter. You're right. It was Jack and Dexter.
Is that a different video game?
Yes, it is. Ratchet and Clank, yeah.
Is that the original? Is that the OG Jack and
No, but they could be described as cousin games, in my opinion. It's a partnership type of game, yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, those songs were like the precursors. There's some other ones too that are just unreleased. That I worked on with another producer, Justin Charles, amazing producer out of Jersey City. I miss him, but those projects never got finished because I moved to Philly and things kind of just took off from there. So, yeah, EP, the Close to Silence is my first EP of just a collection of songs that I felt like worked well together. And, yeah.
Close to Silence, the EP. When you first reached out to me, you did it in a manner that I asked most people to, and I'm glad you did, because some people just skip over this step. But you sent
just a link.
You sent a description of who you are, where you're from, and you provided me with a link to your EP, and you said, give it a listen and tell me what you think. And as soon as I put it on, after I heard the first song, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is vibey, this is emotional, this has a lot of meaning to it. And it is a 6-song EP, correct? Yeah. 6-song EP titled Close to Silence. Close to Silence. Elaborate on the title. Why did you pick that to be the title for the EP? And then we'll go from there and delve into it.
I'm a meditative hoe, and I found my whole songwriting self again when COVID was going on, and I didn't really have a choice but to be in isolation and be in silence. That's when I learned how to meditate, and I found that the more I meditated, the more focused and the more creative I became. Fast forward 4 years later, I am collecting these songs that kind of came to me during that time, and I'm finishing them. And when I'm doing that, it just so happened to be another time where I felt like I had to be close to silence. So it's the double entendre, like you said, of closing a project in silence, and being close to silence. I like the idea also of naming a musical or having silence in the title of a musical project. I love that there's only one that I know of, and I don't remember his name, but there's a composer who created a piece where there's like 7 minutes or so of just ongoing silence at the end, and it's symbolic of death, because I think he was had some type of terminal illness at the time. So being in that, a vibe of being meditative, feeling like something is coming to a close in my life and a new chapter is beginning, and being close and not minding being close to silence, not like feeling like I have to go and I have to meet new people and I have to go to this thing or I'm going to miss it. No, it's about sitting with yourself and examining like all the things that you kind of been, neglecting. Yeah.
Meditation, deep thought,
and letting the shit go.
Being able to sit there and speak to yourself, and it's challenging at times, especially when you have to face yourself and be honest with yourself on what's holding you back and how you can move forward. We all have that. We all have those times where we sit there and we're like, damn, am I doing this right? And you're second guessing. You might cry. You might get angry. You're going to go through these emotions. So close to silence. Silence is important. And what's interesting to me is I realize within my journey of podcasting and meeting new people that for some people, silence is detrimental.
It's triggering, yeah, for some people. I never understood that. I mean, I was always the very quietest person around. No shade to my family. I love them. And family is family to me. I'm always going to be there. And I'm going to take accountability with family too. But I was always pinned as the quiet one, the one who didn't have anything to say. I remember being asked, growing up, I'm like 10, 11. We would be on these long car rides. And my cousins would be like, why don't you don't have anything to say? Or like, why are you so quiet? And I remember saying like, I don't have anything to say, because I feel like when I know I'm being listened to, that's when I speak. But if I sense that, and I could pick up on it from a young age, where when what I have to say, like what I actually have to say is not going to be received in the way that I need it to be received, or it's going to be misunderstood, not because there's a lack of understanding, but that person just doesn't want to expand their worldview. I'd rather just save my breath And it's kind of contradictory because I love pop music, and I feel like pop music is elaborating the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like pop music is all about the same things, about love. It's about having fun in the club.
You're not wrong.
It's the same thing every time.
98.5 has been playing the same vibe for years. And it's like, it's just a different song, but it's the same message. Mm-hmm. It's the same message. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but and I love it. I love everything about pop music. But I think maybe every now and then I need to purge, because I do hold on to a lot of my thoughts. I do hold on to a lot of my I don't meet, and I haven't met a lot of people that I feel comfortable just saying everything that's off the top of my head with. I guess that's because I haven't started therapy yet, but that's where I am with it. I forgot the question. Sorry.
No, you're good. We were talking about Close the Silence, and we were just elaborating on, the silence, right? Like if I'm here alone and I'm just doing some podcast stuff, like I can be in this apartment completely silent, but for some people it's detrimental. It's unique. Yeah. I've learned that, and it's so weird, but it's a real thing. It is a real thing. So if you don't do well with silence, that's kind of unique in my opinion, because I am accustomed to it. If I'm not here, this place is silent.
Do you sleep in silence? Because I heard this thing.
I have a fan.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much that's silence for me. But I realized a lot of people don't sleep in. I was listening to a different show, and they were arguing about that, and somebody said that if you sleep in silence, you're like a serial killer, and I was like, what? It's so peaceful to me. I
got called the serial killer because I ate all the fruit snacks in one go. But we're gonna move on from that because I really want to get into this into your track breakdown list real quick, because we are running short on time a little bit. Yeah, right. It flies. So for me personally, right here, I have sounds, vibes on EP. I have vibey, motivational, transparent, because there is transparency within you through the music, because you could tell that you've gone through something throughout the song. So I have the track list here. We're just going to go through it real quick. We have Destiny, MRB, Content, Fumble, Vanity, and Today. All right. So starts off with Destiny.
Yeah.
All right. On the way super vibey, lovely voice.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of it. Destiny, it's kind of like, this is it, I'm gonna chase it, right? Is that where you were trying to exploit in that track?
Yeah. I was frustrated at that point. Just tired of like obstacles. But the beat was hot, so
the beat was hot.
I had to I don't know. It's ended up sounding very happy, but it came out of frustration for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was so frustrated at that time. I felt like, everything I was doing, there was like an obstacle. I ordered equipment. It got lost in the mail. I set up appointments with people. They ended up, having to postpone. I finally got into meetings with people, and then just the topic matter had to change, and things kept changing around. So when I heard that beat, that's just what happened to come out. And, yeah.
I'm a fan. Did you, you write your songs, I'm assuming, right?
Hell yeah. I love writing my songs. I love them. But I like co-writing too. And I'm open to it. But all of the songs on the album are on that EP I wrote.
I like that. It's wonderful. So we have Destiny. Now my question here for the second track is MRB. I'm unfamiliar with what that stands for.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to name that one, so I just named it the first 3 words of the song, just abbreviated, Mothers Rocking Babies. RMRB. I hope it doesn't stand for anything else like inappropriate or whatever, because that was definitely not my intent. But when I just happened to be riding the bus when I was writing that, and I looked over and that was the first thing I saw. That's how a lot of the things come.
That's so awesome. I love hearing things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just in public and I just saw something in it.
Literally, that's like one of my favorite ways to start the song off, is like I'm kind of perceiving things through the other person's point of view, or just noticing something, and it's an interesting line. It's an interesting attention
You're saying
grabber.
Diamond give it time. In that, correct? You're giving time for yourself. You're basically, you're basically telling yourself like, hey, like, give it time. Like, things are gonna work out.
Myself, yeah. I get. People have told me, and I never really agreed with them though. But they tell me I'm hard on myself, to have more grace with myself, and just like Destiny, like there's still like frustration around like, not appreciating where you're at and who you are now. And I didn't really feel like I could express that to anyone else at the time. So it just ended up coming out in the music. I'm still working on it, like appreciating who I am now and not always looking to what I can improve upon.
It's hard. It's hard. I'm sure every creator goes through that. We're our worst critics. Everyone will be like, "Oh, take it easy on yourself." Well, it's like, "Oh, well, I can't because I just want to get to where I want to go."
Yeah.
So I understand. completely. It's common. It's something. It's just you gotta sit there, and I talk about it all the time, where you just gotta sit there and have an appreciation for the things that you achieve. And 9 times out of 10 here at the Middleman Podcast, me, myself, and I go past them and I don't even sit there and reflect until I'm literally sitting there talking about it. And I'm like,
you're
wow.
on an episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. I've done it before. It's insane. But enough about me, because I really want to continue on this track list to talk to you about. So then we have content, which content is understandable. It's extremely understandable. It's basically you projecting about the frustration of making content.
Yeah.
Yes. And having to do all the things that come with the territory of being a
independent artist.
Yes, independent.
You have to market yourself, and that was so frustrating to me because just to make the song is 24 plus hours. 24 plus hours, and you're working full time, and you have recreational activities, and you have friends that you want to get back to, and family that you need to check in with occasionally, and maybe a part-time job on the side that you need to get to save up for something else you need. And then you throw on top of that you need to become a household name, and you need to build that by yourself. And as the songwriter, I'm like definitely resistant against that. I feel like it's taking I have to sacrifice quality sometimes to get content out there, to balance those two things. And that's what that song came out of. Not that I necessarily feel that way now, because I am way more interested in becoming more commercial in the future, or, in my journey. And I understand that it's not abandoning oneself. It's compartmentalizing. Because you are a business as an artist. And so you do have to
put out content.
You do have to put out content. You do have to cater your personality and, and care about how you are presenting yourself and things like that I was behind a drum set for half of my life, more than half of my life. So it is a stark contrast to being, there's a guitarist in front of you, there's a singer in front of you, there's a drum set in front of you, and now there's none of that. And people are judging not just your voice in the music, but your character based off what they see, your voice, what you're wearing, and the beat and the production value and your visuals. So another song, out of frustration, I'm venting.
I hear it. I understand it. We all go through that as digital creators, the content role of it. One of my friends said it the best. He said, you got to remember that no one has a gun pointed at your head telling you that you have to post that. So just remember that as a content creator, you know, like if you miss a day, you miss a day, but try not to. Find a routine. Wake up Monday, then you got to go and work hours after hours. It's just what you have to do if you want to get to where you got to go. In my opinion, in my opinion, obviously everyone has their different avenues as to how it could work for them, but that is, in my opinion, how these things work. Now, Vanity. I wanna skip over and talk about Vanity because Vanity here. I want to look at
about that song.
Yeah, it's just a definition of like what vanity means, you know. I looked it up. We have two definitions here. It says excessive pride or admiration of someone's appearance, and then the other one is quality of. Oh, excuse me. Right, this is quality. My handwriting isn't the best. Wow, I don't know what that word says.
Vanity. Is it like a armoire or like a mirror?
It says a feeling of being worthless or futile.
I did not know that. It
had it's meaning. It's another meaning of vanity. I was like, okay.
The what of being what?
Worthless. Worthless or futile.
Worthless or futile.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, I did not know. So the second meaning that I was taking from that was actually the object of of vanity.
An actual object. Okay.
Yeah. And but yeah, vanity is a love song.
Yes, it is.
And it's inspired by a actual true life event. My first experience on brownies. Oh my goodness. There was like a bonfire. I never forgot about it. And the way that I met this person, I mean, it was just, quintessential camping, bonfire. And we didn't keep up or anything after that, but it was like magical. And I just remember just like the sparks, the literal sparks from the bonfire, like the brownies were brownieing. And so there was like swirls in the trees around us. And it was just like a real magical moment. So I remember when I found the sample for that guitar, when I found that sample, it just came to me. I know I probably say this for every single song.
It's like it brought you back. It's like it brought you back to that moment.
Vanity actually used to be a rap. The lyrics I wrote were a rap, and it wasn't working. I reworked it, and it ended up being this song. I sang it into my microphone on my phone, and it sounds way more aligned with that like magical feeling that I experienced at that bonfire than it did if it was a rap. So I'm glad I did that.
What is one of the songs that was received by the public extremely well off that EP? Why do you think that is?
I think Destiny for sure.
Okay.
Because I think that has more of a pop vibe. Maybe that sounds more like, what do you call it? More relevant to today's music. And I'm working on that. That's like what's next for me is like becoming my favorite pop star. That's my goal. And pop R&B, what have you, but still like diving into being more commercial is my thing. But Destiny, like, people connect to that instantly. They want to dance to it. And I think today is, the last one today is also very like poppy. And I think people connect to that more because of that. Just the sound of it is more current and recognizable. But I've been posting Vanity a lot and people seem to like that.
Yeah, I've been posting Vanity a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I love that song. I love the
story behind it's unique too.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why people could relate to it, because they see where you're coming from and they put themselves in the shoes that you are writing it, hearing it, and relaying it to their own situations.
My ex liked that song a lot, and she would say like, "Oh, can I pretend that it's about me?" I'm like, whatever you want. I mean, it's your imagination. I'm not
your
sure
world. I'm just living in it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, whatever. But I'm glad that I embodied it. I'm glad that I embodied it better by singing it. And I'm grateful for, and this is across all the songs, I'm just grateful to be a vessel for the music making, songwriting gods to relay and push their messages through me. That's all I am. And I am just so grateful for it. I love writing music.
Well, Diamond, I am grateful for you to have come all the way from Allentown to join me here in Scranton for episode 127 of the Middleman Podcast. But before we get off the air, I'd like to give my guests the floor to leave a message for anyone listening, watching it, or watching at home, things that they could look forward to. The floor is yours.
All right. I'm looking for a gym buddy. I'm looking for a content buddy, buddies. So get into my inbox, DM me on Instagram. I am It's Diamond Music. It's Diamond Music. And on TikTok, I am It's Diamond B as in boy, B as in boy. So it's Diamond BB. So if you are in Allentown often and you also want to make content, like on a weekly basis, like, really look me up. And if you are trying to get these gains this year, like you said you were on your vision board, and you're really about it and not just saying so for social media, also get in my DMs and let that be known. What else? Oh, if you're an artist in the area that I haven't heard of yet, or you haven't been performing, or you're taking a backseat to do some artist development, that is where I am right now. So we can connect on that. And I'm happy to support you and have those conversations on how I can support you, virtually or in person, have those conversations. So, if you are an artist in development, an entrepreneur, business owner in development, slide in my DMs, let your presence be known. I am friendly, as you can see. And so, get at me at Instagram, it's Diamond Music, and on TikTok, it's Diamond Baby, or it's Diamond BB. Also, go listen to the EP. The EP is out on all streaming platforms. I fucking paid for it to be on all streaming platforms, so don't let it be for nothing. It's called Close to Silence. It's 6 songs, and it'll lift your spirits when you're driving in the car or picking your kids up from school. So give it a listen and be honest. I'm not sensitive, so tell me what you think about it.
Lock in. Lock in,
What's that?
everyone.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it was a pleasure having you here once again. I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing out. Peace.